Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
The injuries were so bad, it left investigators stunned.
I cannot even describe to you how heinous these pictures were and how much they truly affected me.
A mother from Wayne charged with beating her 8-year-old daughter to death.
And we need to warn you right off the top here at 5 o'clock. What you are about to hear is disturbing.
Late this afternoon, 30-year-old Chelsea Duperon stood silently as she was charged with felony murder and first-degree child abuse. Victor Williams live in Wayne for us tonight. Victor, she claimed that the child fell down the steps.
Yeah, that's right, Devin. That's what she said originally, but after investigators took a closer look, they ended up finding out that this little girl ended up dying from blunt force trauma to the head. And then the more they looked into it, the more disturbing things got.
She was the most amazing child that anyone has ever seen.
30-year-old Chelsea Renee Duperon is now facing several charges in connection to the death of her 8-year-old daughter, Lila Castle. The same little girl often had fun with this man's daughter, who did not want to go on camera.
She loved coming over and asking if she could get a Slurpee. Like she was the most innocent child that I've ever met.
Police say that on Saturday, March the 16th, they received a call about a child not breathing on Phyllis Street in Wayne. After making it to the scene, they found the little girl in the bedroom of the home unresponsive, suffering from multiple injuries to her head and neck, wearing only a diaper. Her mother said it was because she couldn't move. Medics took her to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Right now, investigators are pointing the finger at Chelsea, saying they believe she's responsible for what happened to her 8-year-old daughter, originally on March the 13th. During the investigation, officers noticed that she had significant swelling on her hand and arm. When asked more about what happened, Chelsea said her daughter fell down the stairs and that a ghost or bad spirit was also in the house. But the story kept changing.
She was completely unrecognizable. There was no way for anybody who saw a child in that condition to not think that she would need immediate medical care.
As a result, Chelsea is now being charged with felony murder and first-degree child abuse. The judge denied her bond.
I truly hope that whatever happened and whatever the truth is, that it all gets revealed, and I hope that justice is served, because whatever happened to that baby, she did not deserve it.
Well, Chelsea is pleading not guilty. She's due back in court on March the 25th. In the meantime, the courts would like her to get a mental evaluation. Victor Williams, Local 4, back to you.
Victor, does anyone else live at the home with Chelsea and her daughter?
Well, we're hearing that Chelsea's boyfriend was also there. From what we understand, he is communicating with police and cooperating as they would like him to. Right now, no charges have been filed, but they aren't saying that he tried to step in and do anything either.
Yeah, it's just horrific. All right, Victor.
Awful, just awful. All right, the brother of Michigan Congressman Dan Kildee has died following a shooting overnight in Genesee County. The sheriff says Timothy Kildee was killed by his son during an argument. After the shooting, the son allegedly stole a car and crashed it in nearby Genesee Township. Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson says a suspect was involved in a domestic incident in Burton before he traveled to Kildee's home in Vienna Township.
Another big story tonight. Detroit Police Chief James Craig speaking out after shots were fired at officers on Detroit's east side. This happened in the area of Harper and Seneca, not far from I-94 and Van Dyke. Chief White says the officers were on a traffic stop when someone fired shots at them. Now, no one was hurt, but the chief says this is the third time in recent weeks this has happened.
It's very serious. I mean, they're just trying to do their job. I mean, certainly anytime you're faced with fatal force or having to use force, it's very serious. The officers were engaged in the traffic stop, had absolutely no conflict with the person who was being investigated, and both the officer and the suspect had to duck for cover. So it's very serious.
$2,000 reward being offered right now for any information that leads to an arrest in the case. You can call Detroit Police or you can call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP.
It was 2 weeks ago today. The Goose Select Distributors warehouse burst into flames and exploded it as if it were a military weapons depot.
And tonight, the scene remains much as it did right after the explosion. A lot of people wondering what is going on with this investigation.
For more on that, we turn to Local 4's Rod Maloney, who just had an interview with the pastor of the family of the young man killed. Rod, I'd imagine so many questions and so much pain for this family.
Decidedly, and in fact, Turner Lee Salter's family in a lot of pain. We have some new details about him, and we'll have that in just a second. But first, let's take a look at the scene here, and I can tell you, after covering fires like this for many years, major fires, that in the day or two after, you have investigators combing through the rubble like this, but not here and not now. It's going to be 2 more weeks before they can get here. Sky 4 shows us the sprawling aftermath, now cooled, yet frozen in time. The yellow police tape flaps in the chilly breeze. The next door Burger King sits still closed. A Clinton Township police officer assigned daily to keep people away. Insurance companies have hired their own security to do the same. A specialized dumpster is on site to contain any threatening explosive canisters. Clinton Township Supervisor Bob Cannon wants some answers.
We don't know what's underneath, so we have to have specialized equipment, specialized people who know how to handle that equipment, because we don't know what's there.
City, state, and federal investigators recently agreed to join insurance company inspectors on April 3rd and 4th to find out.
The big part of this is getting everybody who's going to investigate here at the same time, so when they move the steel rods over there, everyone sees the same thing.
Hundreds of people came out to see the explosive blaze. 19-year-old Turner Lee Salter came with his siblings and mother, not understanding the danger the shrapnel posed. Pastor Tim Berlin of Faith Baptist Church is the family spokesperson.
She was the one that got the police attention, that started the CPR and things, and so yeah, it was certainly very, very difficult.
Turner's parents are school teachers. Their community, along with the church and Clinton Township itself, came together with great support for them. As for Turner himself,
he was just a kind young man, and very thoughtful, hardworking.
Now, the meter is running on all of this. Damages in the millions of dollars out here. Bob Cannon tells us the city intends to recoup all of its expenses, which are massive. And he's not saying a lot about what he knows about what's gone on here. He says because he doesn't want to mess up the investigation, and that's still a couple of weeks away. And we're going to take some time here. It's going to take some time for them to know exactly what was all behind this. But they say for certain that they intend to get to the bottom of it. Back to you.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy, such a long stretch here. All right, Rod. Well, for the first time since a jury returned a guilty verdict, James Crumley's attorney, Merrill Lehman, is speaking out publicly.
In an interview with NBC News, Lehman opened up about multiple aspects of the case. Let's get out to Sean Lay. Sean, that includes the decision to not have Crumley testify in his own defense.
She said the jury heard from him in videos from police and 911. She didn't think it would change a thing. Look, Mariel Lehman right here. We got to know her style and her defense of James Crumley. Now we get to answer questions. She gets to answer questions like, what was her reaction and James Crumley's reaction when the verdict was read?
He was. I think that we both were. We know that James didn't know what his son was planning. We know that he didn't know that his son had obtained access to the firearms, any of the firearms in the house.
Criminal defense attorney Mario Lehman, James Crumley's attorney, opening up, answering questions following Crumley's conviction. Question: Jennifer Crumley took the witness stand in her trial. Why didn't James Crumley?
Jury heard from James. They heard him in his interviews. There were, I think, 4 videos played, and then also the 911 call. They heard from James. They heard what he would have said on the stand. So I don't think that they would have heard anything different from him than what they'd already heard.
Lehman says she and Crumley are disappointed by the verdict, the conviction, based on his failure to get his son mental health help and that he did not secure the murder weapon. One thing Lehman wants to make clear is this.
And the truth is he's a really good person, and he was a really good dad, and he had a really good relationship with his son. And as he said in one of his police interviews, or in his police interview, he wished that he had taken his son home that day. If he had known what was going to happen, he would have made different decisions, but he didn't know.
Back here live, what's next in all this? Sentencing for James Crumley and Jennifer Crumley. Lehman says for James Crumley, she'll file a memorandum suggesting what she thinks the sentence should be. Live tonight, Sean Lay, Local 4, back to you.
Yeah, okay, Sean, thank you.
All right, we turn our attention now to the weather. Live look outside at Metro Airport.
Yeah, it's smooth sailing out there right now, even with this chilly, windy weather as we see the camera kind of bounce up and down there. Let's get over to Brian Sherman. He's in for Kim Adams tonight. Hi there, Brian.
Hi there, Kimberly and Devin. Good Tuesday evening, everyone. Windy has been the word of the day today, although we've seen just a little bit of sunshine, and we've kept that cloud cover around through much of the day as well. Tower cam from Windsor looking across the river into downtown Detroit. More clouds than any sunshine, with most everybody into the 40s this evening. 47 right now here in Detroit, 45 over in Ann Arbor, 41 in Port Huron, and 49 in Adrian. Sustained winds have been anywhere between 10 to upwards of 20, 25 miles an hour for some of us, with wind gusts well in excess of 30, even upwards of 35 to 36 miles an hour early this evening up in Pontiac. And as we go throughout the rest of the evening tonight, we will keep the cloud cover around with the breezy winds and cold temperatures falling out of the 40s into the 30s overnight, with gusts upwards of 25 miles an hour. But winter's not done just yet. We'll talk about some accumulating snow that's on the way for the end of the week. Your full 4-1 forecast coming up in just a few minutes.